What's up, Meta Nerds? This video is all about the Aqualish species. They were considered to be sentient amphibians that are actually broken up into three subcategories: the Aquila, the Quara, and the Ulak. The Aquila subspecies were distinguished by flippers on their hands, and they had two eyes just like the Quara, though the Quara only made up about 10% of the Aqualish, and had very useful 5-fingered hands that made them better able to handle technology that was manufactured by other species. The Ulak have variants with 5 fingers, or 3 very thick fingers, and were also distinguished by this extra pair of eyes. The Ulak are the rarest form of the Aqualish, though all three of them have the same baseline genetic structures. The Aqualish hail from the ocean planet of Ando, which was located in the mid-rim. What they all had in common were these large facial tusks that curved down over their mouths, causing many to think that they were some sort of large arachnid. Though they really don't exhibit any other spider-like traits, Coruscant geneticists have made a shocking discovery that there are some similarities in their genome with the Harch species, which are indeed arachnids. These tusks were used for cracking open shellfish, and for burrowing tunnels in the swamplands that their primitive ancestors would call home. The Aqualish lifespan and rate of maturity almost mirrors humans, with a child being someone who is 1 to 11 years old, young adult from 12 to 16, adult from 17 to 50, middle-aged from 51 to 69, and were considered old in their 70s and 80s. And a fully grown member of this species would reach a height of 1.7 to 2 meters on average, about the same range found in humans. Besides their tusks and aquatic diet, all Aqualish types shared another common trait, which was a bad temper. It is very easy to set an Aqualish off, and constant warring among early primitive tribes is believed to have pushed Aqualish populations to different parts of Ando, resulting in some of the more distinct visual differences among the three subgroups as they evolved in near isolation from each other. Other theories believe that this may have been the result of genetic manipulation by another spacefaring civilization that came across this species, and they point to the fact that the Quara and the Ulak seem to be designed to be able to use tech that would have been developed by one of the many other species that had digits instead of flippers. This theory is also supported by the fact that many doubt the Ulak's ability to develop extra sets of eyes, digits, and a bulkier frame all simultaneously from just natural evolution alone. It seems instead like this subspecies may have been intended as some sort of alien super soldier for whatever advanced species was testing on the population of Ando. But whether it was natural, engineered, or a combination of both, the result was that each subgroup felt that they were the superior version. The more populous Aquila hated the Quara and Ulak. Though they could all speak the same language, they tended to stay segregated even as the total population of Ando grew, and transportation allowed them to travel away from their ancestral homes. The Aquila stayed in oceans, the Quara in the wetlands, and the Ulak in the caves and dark rainforests. There was always tension amongst these three, and it finally exploded into a world war that is referred to as the Aqualish Civil War. Side note, but it's kind of funny to think that if aliens were to document our history, they might think of every war in our past as a sort of civil war. The fighting on Ando was intense, but surprisingly, it ended in a peace treaty amongst all parties. Not long after this, a group of prospective human settlers landed on Ando and were promptly murdered by the locals. The Aqualish were not space travelers themselves yet, but by dedicating the best and brightest minds of the three subspecies an unfathomable task before the peace treaty, they were able to reverse engineer the human ships, giving the species their first spacefaring vessel. They quickly set a course for the nearby planet Andando, but the resulting colonies would not act as a springboard for a more broad civilization. Instead, they destroyed the ecology there and went back to just living on Ando, seeming to have lost interest in further space travel. But as is the rule of the universe, they could not just opt out of interacting with the galaxy at large, and in 15,000 BBY, the Republic forced Ando to join them after quickly destroying a small military resistance. This angered the Aqualish, who, unable to defy the Republic, turned their violence toward each other and reignited old hatreds. This forced the Republic to send Jedi Master Joruus C'baoth and a demilitarization group to the planet to try and stop the violence and killing that was occurring on Ando. During this time, some Aqualish joined the Republic military, while many others moved off-planet to work in various fields, though their bad temper and relatively terrifying looks excluded them from some forms of employment. Because of this, many turned to a life as a spacer, transporter, smuggler, or criminal. Most chose the latter, creating a stereotype of their species that they were all just a bunch of violent crooks. Thousands of years later, to no surprise of any galactic historian, Po Nudo seceded from the Republic in the year 23 BBY, making Ando one of the first planets to join the Separatists. Of course, the Aqualish can't agree on anything, so there was still a faction known as the Andoan Free Colonies, which stayed loyal to the Republic, and this was actually huge, because though they were not successful with their first colonies, at this time there were actually more Aqualish living off-world than on Ando. This resulted in another Aqualish civil war, with the Grand Army of the Republic and Shakti trying to help the free colonies, but they suffered many defeats that resulted in Ando staying separatists until the end of the war. The Empire severely punished old separatist worlds, and hated ugly aliens, so Ando was screwed when Palpatine became Emperor, who treated Ando like a large mining site for his Imperial war machine. Because of this, Ando joined the New Republic after the Battle of Endor, but would still be without peace, due to invasions by Grand Admiral Thrawn, and then the Yuuzhan Vong. This made the population of Ando refuse to join the Galactic Alliance, but would later become a planet in Darth Krayt's empire in the year 137 ABY. So that's it for the Aqualish species, but you definitely want to hear these cool facts and behind the scenes stuff. People often confuse this guy, Teek Sidbam, with Ponda Baba, though Teek was an Aquala, and Pondo was a member of the Quara subspecies. But this wasn't some great world building, but just a bit of retcon to make up for the fact that in one shot, Pondo has flippers, but when it's cut off, this hand has claws. And though rare, there are a few Jedi and Sith Aqualish, with one potential Sith being dissuaded by Revan, and during the Clone Wars, there was Windu Nend, and an unnamed Jedi pilot. And a hand-wavy explanation of why the blood came out of Ponda Baba's arm was that the species does have some distant arachnid genome, and so he may have had an open circulatory system like spiders, and so while small blood vessels in humans might get cauterized, the larger sac of blood that is the hemolymph would not get completely sealed off. So that's it for the Aqualish species, but more important than all that, remember, never kill an Aqualish on the carpet, and the Force will be with you. Always.